Good evening, sir.
Okay. Now we'll focus on extended writing, extended text today. It's not extended writing, but extended text. We have an extended writing task in paper 2, part 3. But this is paper 1, part 3, which is extended text. Now, we'll look at the criteria. Yet again, we have divided every part, we have dissected every part into 3, which are namely the type of the material or the text which are being used, and then the challenges, and lastly, the tips. Now, first and foremost, number 1, we need to know the type of text that will be tested for this particular part. You know that we have, this would be probably the longest text in the entire exam paper, 650 to 700 words. Okay, they can be narrative, which is story, they can be expository, they can be descriptive, they can be factual. Okay, they can be any of these. Okay, the word limit would be 650 to 700 words, as in the length of the text that is used. Okay, they're all from authentic material, so the material are authentic, so you can expect it to be difficult. Okay, not necessarily difficult, but it is not something that is watered down. You understand or not? It is not compromised. It is not a tailored text. It is not a compromised text. Teks tersebut tidak akan dipermudah untuk suit kamu. Tidak. Teks itu akan diambil dan diguna pakai. So it is based on an authentic material. Now, there are 8 questions that follow. So today the practice is going to be a bit hard. You will have to remember a lot of things. So please pay close attention. Now, challenges. What could be the challenges for this particular task? The first thing is the nature of the text. The nature of the text. The text itself, the length, as in kepanjangan, 650 to 700 words. So they are not short. It is not a short text, it is a long text. The language usage, the language is not something that is compromised or that is tailored, that is custom made for you. It is from an authentic material which is taken and which is used for your exam. And also the topic. The topic can be varied. Sometimes the topic can be something that does not interest you. For example, yesterday we had 2 different stories, 2 different things. The first one where a mother lost a child and somehow managed to overcome her misery by quilting, or by quilting. While we read another text which is about artificial intelligence, AI. So there are different topics. So it is also equally important, whereby if a topic does not interest you, then you wouldn't pay much attention to it, and it will be very difficult for you to stay focused, because the word limit after all is 650 to 700 words. And if you are not someone who always reads, then that's a problem. The second one is the nature of the question, the level of difficulty of the question itself. The questions may not be very simple. The questions may not be exactly direct. And the questions may not confine itself to a particular paragraph. You will probably need to make a generalization based on the whole text. So it is a bit hard on that turf. Now, for that, you need to have these 2 things. And these 2 things are prevalent all the way through. Untuk semua part sangat penting. Number 1, to have a holistic understanding of the text and contextual understanding of the questions. So you need to understand the text thoroughly, and at the same time, you need to contextually understand the questions. What does the question require? Kehendak soalan bergantung pada konteks soalan tersebut. So You need to have a holistic understanding of the text. That means you need to have a general idea of what is the text all about. And then at the same time, you also need to understand what is the context of the question and how to handle them. Now, tips. Firstly, read the questions and underline the keywords or the objective of the questions. Now, this is very important. We'll go through this step by step. The first thing to do is to read the question and underline the keywords and objective of the questions. I find it very, very useful because by reading the questions, the scope is really narrowed. The scope for you to answer the question is extremely narrowed. So you would stay focused even before you get onto the task. And then read and understand the text, its overview and content. So after reading the questions, after getting to the objective of each question, then you move on to read and understand the text and its overview as well its context. What is the context of the particular text? You see, context is very important. A context is what determines whether Adolf Hitler is a good person or a bad person. Someone could totally portray Adolf Hitler as a very good person. Someone can totally portray Adolf Hitler as a negative person. It all depends on the context the person is being described. So it is very important to understand the context and then get to the scope of the question and look for contextual clues. Get to the core of the question and look for clues. And then after that, look for the right answer, study all the 4 options and choose the most suitable answer. Look for the right answer by studying all the 4 options because all the 4 options may be similar, and choose the most suitable answer. Now, these are the tips. So first read the question and then read the text and get to the scope of the question and then consider all the 4 options and get the right answer. Are we ready for a practice?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we're not going to read the text. We're going to read the questions first, as we have discussed earlier. Now, I'm going to read the question and then we are going to narrow the scope. From paragraph 1, why the girls did not expect the horror that they were yet to face on that day. They were busy, they were naive, they were used to it, they were not interested. The key idea here is why the girls did not expect the horror. Why did they not expect the horror? That is the keyword, isn't it? That is the main idea. Why didn't they expect the horror? Now, next one. From paragraph 2, what can be described of the gunman? So here the focus is description of the gunman. Description of the person who is holding the gun. Now, from paragraph 3, which of the following does not speak of her bravery? Does not speak, not does, but does not speak of her bravery. Fearless stand in voicing out what is right, speaking about the importance of education, unfazed and unshakable in the face of ruthless horror, write blogs on the unjust situations going on in Swat Valley. Now, 22. Which of the following word would describe Malala's attitude on perpetrations of political agenda? So here the key word is Malala's attitude on perpetrations of political agenda. These are the keywords. Okay, in the exam you could possibly underline them. Give me a second. Now, from paragraph 4, which word indicates fame? Fame. Which word means famous?
Sir.
Yeah.
What means fame, sir?
What is fame?
Yes, sir.
Popularity.
Popularity. Okay, sir. Thanks, sir.
Okay. From paragraph 5, the following statements are true except. So the following statements are true except. So all the statements are true except for one. So we've got to find which is not true. From the passage, we know that Malala is most passionate about. Most passionate about. She is passionate about a lot of things, but what is she most passionate about? Based on the passage, we can conclude that Malala's biography is conclude. So we can generalize. We can read everything and we can generalize. Okay? Now, let's look at the text. Now, I would need a lot of volunteers to read the text. So, I'm going to go to the group. Okay. Now, yes, Muthu, you read the first paragraph. Hello, Muthu from typing. Can you read the first paragraph?
Okay, sir. I read
Yeah.
in my heart, sir.
Yeah, I can't hear you. Are you reading it?
I reading, sir.
I can't hear your voice. Okay, can somebody else try? I'm not getting his voice.
Sir, can I
Sir,
try,
can I
sir?
read? Sir, can I read, sir?
Okay, one by one. Who is the first person to say it? Volunteer?
Sir,
Yes. Who is that?
Shanmugalan, sir.
Okay, Shanmugavelan, read the first paragraph.
It was just another bright, brilliant day in the Sweat Valley. The Mars was a musky as it once always been. A group of brave girls had assimilated the condition just too long that they did not anticipate any odd probability of the horror that they were yet to face, discussing on the physics paper that they were going to sit for the next day. These girls were well on their way in the truck which transported them to the school. Suddenly, the truck halted abruptly as if someone was stopping it abruptly.
Abrasively.
Briefly, please.
Okay. Next paragraph. Who was the second volunteer just now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Who is you? Who are you?
Hari, sir.
Okay, Hari. The problem is, Hari, I can't see. I can only see the screen. I can't see the tiles. So
No problem, sir.
yeah. Thank you, Hari.
Which one of you is Malala? Speak up or I will shoot all of you. A harsh voice vociferated from vociferated from one of the masked gunmen who stopped the truck. The bravery 16-year-old Malala said, I am, without a slightest
Deliberation.
deliberation or rude tenses, and the gunman held the pistol right on her temple, shooting her point blank, sending a bullet breaking open a skull divide, wing down at a cranial, nervous down to the lobe of her collarbone. What happened thereof is history and voice that still send wave of
Revolutionary.
revolts on the girls' education at voices begin on the day. The voice has impacted me to a great extent. It the voice of a person that I admire the most, Malala Yousafzai, that youngest Nobel Peace Prize winner.
Okay. Now, third paragraph. Who was the other person who volunteered just now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Who is? I mean, tell me your name.
Yong Kang.
Okay, a boy.
There are numerous reasons for one to adore Malala and imbibe her qualities. However, for me, I would choose her fearless stand in voicing out what is right as the most likable attribute. Malala has an outstanding courage to face the avalanche of a terror to speak up for what is just and right. He is unfazed and unshakable in the face of those ruthless horror. Malala initiated the good work of speaking out on the importance of education and girls' access to education was before the world was taken down by the point blank shooting incident. She had also been writing blog on the unjust situation going on in Swat Valley, how misrepresented represented the religion is in the eyes of the world due to the devil sort of work done by a small minority.
Minority. Okay. Now, any
Minority.
other volunteers? Anyone volunteers? Rashwin? You there, Rashwin? Can't hear you. Kenneth, do you mind?
Sure. Oh, and Rajvin said my microphone is unable to operate.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Right, I start with besides that, right?
Yeah, correct.
So besides that, Malala has always been very level-headed throughout her great achievements. After fetching her Nobel Peace Prize, and even before that, she was constantly on the limelight, meeting up with some of the biggest names in present history. Having carved a prominent name for herself, she shakes hands with every other leader of the world. What? Where do you go? Answer their questions and leave them awestruck. Malala has a level of maturity which is well beyond her age and locality. Malala has a class of her own whereby she does not bend or give in to any political supremacy or allow herself to be used as a selling segment to advertise any ideologies, advertently or inadvertently.
Okay. Devendran Selvan, can you continue with the next paragraph?
Okay. Malala is quite steadfast in her mission and purpose, which is to go all out to advocate and spread the equality and availability of education to all. Malala's extensive efforts to fight for the right to education have garnered her global response. She travels to almost all the countries around the globe for the noble cause she has pledged herself to carry out. Many countries celebrate her for her outward guts and the courage that she has preserved in her heart. Access to education is perhaps something we do not have to need to fight for. In some other parts of the very world we are living, it is a luxury which is beyond reach. Malala goes to such countries and do whatever needed to solve the problems within her capacity.
Okay. Now, the last paragraph. Can I have Sivaneswaran? Are you there, Sivaneswaran? Okay. Surya?
Education is indeed the key to success. Therefore, Malala has chosen the right path and is on her way for a fight cause. However, the obstacles and pain-inflicting hardships which she has paid are far too great than anything that we could ever conceive in our minds. I could only admire this young lady and adore her for the proclivity she has to meander through the painstaking journey to achieve her goals without succumbing to the odd probabilities that may stumble her feet and divert her from embarking on her noble cause. In my own way, I will emulate her glorious steps to uphold what is right in my life and to fight for what is right. If a deprived girl from a deprived girl from a marginalized background could make it up to the pinnacle of the history of the world, most surely all of us could if our intentions are pure and well fueled with this determination.
Okay, now let me get some feedbacks on the text. What do you think? How do you think the text is? Is it easy or is it hard?
Quite hard, sir, because there's some not familiar words that I can't understand.
Okay, so that's one comment there, and then any other words? Any other comments on the text?
A lot of hard words.
Okay, now let me tell you, I wrote the text. I wrote this particular the entire text on Malala. I wrote this to develop the question. So it was an essay which I wrote for some blog. This was written probably about 7-8 years ago, and some blogs required me to write this, so I wrote this for them, and I used the same material, the text that I wrote many years ago. So this is something that I write, and for your extended writing, if you want to achieve a C2, you should be able to write like this. So imagine the amount of vocabulary and the way I coin words. This is something that you should take very seriously. Okay, see, it was just another bright, brilliant day in the Swat Valley. The marsh was as murky as it has always been. A group of brave girls had assimilated the condition just too long that they did not anticipate any odd probability of the horror that they were yet to face. Do you see how I've worded this? They were to face something horrible, but they did not expect it to happen on that day because it has always been very bad. So look at the way I phrase it. They did not anticipate any odd probability of the horror. This is how you coin phrases which are catchy and interesting. Okay, now you can go through this text in the YouTube later when I upload the video. It's always there, and you can take down the difficult words. You can go and read and pause and read, and you can take down the difficult words, or you can always ask me, because those who have a proximity with me. Yes.
Sorry for interrupt, sir. What the means of anticipate?
Anticipate is to expect.
Expecting,
Expecting,
okay.
yes. All right, now we are going to go through the question. Now, from paragraph 4, why the girls did not expect the horror that they were yet to face on that day? Look at the options. They were busy. They were naive. They were used to it. They were not interested.
So what means
naive?
Yes, sir.
Okay, in Malay it's naif. It means jahil. They didn't know anything.
Okay.
They were too good.
Okay.
Is it pure?
It's not exactly pure, but it's being too good. That they are very innocent. You can put it that way. Now, look at this text. You remember the question? Now, what do you think is the answer? I don't think you could even need to go back to the text. It is quite obvious the answer there. You see, a group of brave girls had assimilated the condition just too long had assimilated the condition just too long that they did not anticipate any odd probability of the horror that they were yet to face. So what do you think is the answer? They were busy, they were naive, they were used to it, they were not interested.
Sir, D, sir, they were not interested.
No?
They were used to it.
They were used to it. Very good. They were used to it. How do you know they were used to it? Had assimilated the condition just too long. It has been happening like that for too long. Okay?
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Do you understand? Now, don't think just because we have a question and we have 4 options, it is going to be easy. No. You see, you stumble even on the first question itself. Now let's look at the second one. From paragraph 2, what can be described of the gunman? The gunman is basically the guy who shot Malala down. Ruthless, decisive, determined, considerate. All the answers except for D is correct. But which is the most appropriate one?
Ruthless.
Yes, very good. Ruthless. Ruthless means heartless. Okay, now, third one. From paragraph 3, which of the following does not speak of her bravery? Does not speak about her, Malala, being brave. Fearless stand in voicing out what is right. Do you require bravery for that? Do you need to be brave for that?
Yes.
Yes, so that is not the answer. Speaking about the importance of education, do you need to be brave to speak about the importance of education?
No, sir.
Not necessarily. Okay, so we'll hold that there. Moving on to C. Unfazed and unshakable in the face of ruthless horror. Does that speak about she being brave? Of her being brave, sorry?
So what means unfazed, sir?
Doesn't care. She's not shaken. She's not bought over. She's not chickened out. She's strong. She doesn't step back. That's unfazed. So it speaks about the bravery, yes or no?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Alright.
Fix about bravery.
Yes.
Yeah. And look at the last one. Write blocks on the unjust situations going on in Swat Valley. She's writing blocks on the injustice that is happening in Swat Valley. Does it require bravery? Must she be brave for that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what do you think is the answer?
E.
B.
B.
Keen
So this
about
is
the
how,
importance
yes.
of it.
To just speak about the importance of education, you don't need to be brave. So B is the right answer. That is how you decide. Now, let's look at the next one. Which of the following word would describe Malala's attitude on perpetrations of political agenda? Unfazed, tolerant, ignorant, compliant. For that, you need to know the meaning for all these words, you know. Compliant is someone who will compromise. Ignorant, she is naive. She doesn't know. She's innocent, too innocent to know. Tolerant, she accepts it. Unfazed, she faces it. She faces the perpetrations of political agenda without giving in. Now let's go back and look for the clue. Where do we speak about political idea? So in the first paragraph, no. The second paragraph, no. Third paragraph, does it speak about politics? No. Fourth paragraph, does it speak about politics? Yes, it does. You look at this. Malala has the level of maturity which is well beyond her age and locality. Malala has a class of her own whereby she does not bend or give in to any political supremacy or allow herself to be used as a selling segment to advertise any ideologies advertently or inadvertently. That means she doesn't allow herself to be politically used. Therefore, is it unfazed, tolerant, ignorant, compliant? What do you think is the answer?
C.
Is she ignorant?
C, sir.
Doesn't she know? No. Ignorant means she does not know whether a particular political party is using her or not.
B, sir.
A.
B means she allows herself to be used.
So unfazed.
Yes, it's unfazed. She's not scared, or she doesn't take a step back. Okay, she faces it. She faces the perpetration of political agenda without giving in. All right. Now, from paragraph 4, which word indicates fame? So these words are from paragraph 4. Which word indicates fame? Awestruck, limelight, prominence, supremacy.
A, sir.
Yes, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is paragraph 4. Let's read paragraph 4. Besides that, Malala has always been very level-headed throughout her great achievements. After fetching her Nobel Peace Prize, and even before that, she was constantly on the limelight, meeting up with some of the biggest names in the present history. Having carved a prominent name for herself, she shakes hands with every other leader of the world, answer their questions, and leave them awestruck. Malala has the level of maturity which is well beyond her age and locality. Malala has a class of her own, whereby she does not bend or give in to any political supremacy or allow herself to be used as a selling segment to advertise any ideologies, advertently or inadvertently. So which do you think is the word that shows fame? The words which are used are this. Okay. And then this. And then awestruck. And lastly, supremacy. So, what do you think is the right word for fame? Look for contextual clues, as I told you. Carved a prominent name, carved a fame name, leave them awestruck, leave them fame to any political supremacy. Political fame, she was constantly on the limelight. She was constantly on the fame.
Sir,
Yes.
I think the answer is prominent.
No.
Limelight?
Prominent is strong.
Limelight, sir.
Limelight. Yes. The answer is limelight. The answer is limelight. Now, look at the question number 24. From paragraph 5, the following statements are true except Malala's efforts have reached all around the world. Malala has devoted herself for a noble cause that she embarks on. Malala is celebrated for the deadly injury that she sustained for the gunshot. Malala has been to almost all the countries around the globe for her noble cause. What do you think is the answer? It's based on, very good, C. Yes. C is not true. She's not celebrated merely for the deadly injury that she sustained or for the gunshot. That's not why she's celebrated for. So C is the right answer. All right, now 25 from the passage. So overall the passage, we know that Malala is most passionate about Nobel Peace Prize, equality of gender, importance of education, atrocities in Swat Valley.
B, sir.
Gender equality, is she fighting for women's right?
No.
Yeah,
So what is the answer?
C, sir. C.
Is her fight is all about the atrocities that happen in Swat Valley in Pakistan?
C.
What is Malala's fight all about? What is she most passionate about?
Education.
Sir, D,
Let's
sir,
see.
D,
Okay.
sir, D, sir.
Give it a choice. Let's see. Malala is quite steadfast in her mission and purpose. which is to go all out to advocate the spread the equality and availability of education to all. Malala's extensive efforts to fight for the rights of education have garnered her global response. Access to education. Education is indeed the key to success. Therefore, Malala has chosen the right path and is on her way for a right cause. So now I'll go back to the question again. Malala
C,
is
sir.
most passionate about
C, sir.
importance
Importance
of
of education.
Yes, C. Now, based on the passage, we can conclude that Malala's biography is inspiring, interesting, despicable, educational.
D, sir.
B, sir. Educational.
Okay, just because she fights for the rights of education, we assume that we assume that her biography is educational. But Malala's biography, Malala's life story is not educational. It is inspirational. Yeah, so it's inspiring. So the answer is A. Of course, the options would be A, B, and C. D is definitely out. B is also not too correct. Between A and D, the most appropriate one is A, inspiring. All right. Now, do you get the idea of how you should handle this? It is not that easy, yeah? Okay. So that is extended text practice for you. Now, moving on to vocabulary. We have 5 new words today, starting from C. Now, a callow, the first one, is someone who is young and inexperienced. That's a callow. Someone who is callow is someone who is young and inexperienced. A charlatan is a flamboyant deceiver, a very flamboyant deceiver. Someone who talks very sweet, but very sweet in a very attractive manner, but he's all full of lies. He cheats people. Cogent, powerfully persuasive. He's very powerful and he's very convincing, very persuasive. Colossal, huge. Condone, excuse, or you permit. You condone a certain behavior. You allow a certain behavior. That's excusing. Okay? So these are the 5 new words for today. You can always, of course, go back to YouTube to find the meanings of these words. Now,